So in this video, we're going to talk about gearing on the seasonal PvP servers, from how to get the Conqueror's gear, such as the Detriment here, which is a really nice in-game musket that you will lose on death, and how to get everything before that, such as Ethereal gear, which allows us to get the Conqueror's gear, and most importantly, other gear in between as well, that is less important. So to start off with, you're going to be obviously leveling using your Ethereal Dust. I made a video on that, which you can go and check out. And once you're level 65, what your next step is to get some gear. So what you can do is gather some materials. This does require you to do the general farming that you would find yourself doing on a normal server. So you have to, do some mining, logging, smelting, etc. to get some ingots. Or alternatively, if you have gold from, let's say, questing, you could also go to the trade post and you could get ethereal gear, which is actually not too expensive now, as a lot of people are crafting it. So we'll just go light and then we'll scroll until we see ethereal gear. Preferably you want tier 3 because that is going to be 600 gear score. So we'll just keep going until we see some ethereal. Yeah, here we go. Ethereal tier 3, it is 600 gear score, 25 stat points, 1 perk, and the ethereal armor perk. The ethereal armor perk is very important here, as this is going to allow us to get a currency inside elite points of interest called WRATHSTONEs. WRATHSTONEs are the most important currency to getting the best gear in the game, which is the Conqueror gear. Now you're going to want to mix in the ethereal gear as well as the Conqueror gear, as some gear sets do not have full Conqueror gear, such as light and medium do not have any Conqueror armor. There is only heavy Conqueror armor, but there is a Conqueror weapon for everyone to use. But in terms of armor, you will be mixing in some top tier ethereal gear. I don't know if there's any on the trade post, but it is possible to get tier 5 ethereal gear that has 3 best in slot perks on it. I don't think anyone's even selling that on the market. I don't know why you would. But again, you can effectively take that ethereal gear. You're going to go to an elite POI. Especially, it is important to also note that you need one of every type of ethereal gear piece. So you need an ethereal armor piece in your kit, an ethereal jewelry piece, an ethereal weapon, it could also be Conqueror, to get the WRATHSTONEs to drop. Now I'm going to show what a WRATHSTONE is this is going to be your in-game farm, what not only also drops on death, but it's going to be one of your main aspects of the whole server and the replayability of it. So again, these WRATHSTONEs are going to be earned from elite POIs and obviously killing other players if they drop theirs. You can also get them from gathering using ethereal tools. I don't think I have any ethereal tools on me. I do actually. So if I mine with an ethereal pickaxe, I also have a chance to get a WRATHSTONE. And using 1000 WRATHSTONes, you can craft an ethereal item. So for example, with these WRATHSTONes, which I've got from doing the Cutlass Keys Elite Zone, which I will mention in a sec here, I will be able to craft the Detriment Musket. Now, you won't see these recipes here, which I do want to again mention as well. You won't see these Conqueror item recipes if you don't craft ethereal animuses. What are ethereal animuses? If I didn't explain it in my video, if you didn't watch my previous video that explained leveling, this is the sort of precursor. So what you're going to do is you're going to take any resource you want. You could take ethereal, you could take wood, ironwood, young wood, whatever you want, turn it into ethereal dust, like so, and then with that ethereal dust, you'll create an ethereal expertise animus. This gives you instant XP, and if you don't know it already, this is your fastest way to level up, as it gives you, again, an XP capsule that you can spam simply by using low tier materials to convert to ethereal dust. So with that out of the way, we've crafted our expertise, or ethereal animus, so many confusing terms here. These ethereal animuses have a chance to give us a Conqueror's item recipe. So for example, at the engineering station here, from those animuses, I have both got the bow and the musket, or one of the bow and one of the musket recipes, which allows me to craft said item with the WRATHSTONE currency. So again, you have to get your recipe from your ethereal animus, and then you have to get 1000 WRATHSTONes either by killing other players that drop them, or from farming elite POIs, but there is another way to do it. And that is what I wanted to mention, with ethereal weapons. So, ethereal weapons have a different perk compared to ethereal armor and ethereal jewelry. So, as we have seen, ethereal jewelry will give us race stones inside elite POIs. But ethereal weapons, if you have them on you before going into out into the open world, it has a perk that allows you to get special materials when completing darkness events. Darkness events, if you didn't know, are corruption portals. I don't know why the wording is so jumbled here, but you will take an ethereal musket to a corrupted portal, and after completing a corrupted portal, any level, you'll get the most out of low-level mages, or the most efficient way out of low-level mages. Mages give you the most, up to 130 race stones upon completing a low-level portal, which is another very efficient way to get race stones, especially if you're solo and worried about going into an elite POI where you don't either have the group or it is gatekept by a Zerg or a gank group, right? So, with that said, you've got your race stones from either your elite POIs or your corrupted portals using your ethereal gear. And remember, it is very important that you have a ethereal jewelry, ethereal weapon, and ethereal armor on, just 3 pieces in total, 1 piece for each gear type, to actually have the race stone drop from both the enemies and the chests. You can get up to 35 race stones from an enemy to drop, and up to 35 from a chest. It can go as low as 10, it is RNG. And once you've done that, you'll go to your bench with the recipe you've got from the ethereal animus. There's so many steps here that, again, you'll be able to craft your Conqueror's item. It is important to note that this item will drop on death if you die. The enemy will be able to pick it up, and second to that, you will also have durability that cannot be repaired. So for example, the appendage's detriment here, once it hits 0 durability, it will break, and you will have to craft a new one. The good thing is, these race stones are very fast to farm. So I've got, as you saw, 2,300 race stones there. I just crafted another detriment, which I'm probably going to put in storage until I lose this one as a backup. There is some very fast ways to get race stones. The fastest way to get race stones, provided you have a bunch of regular gear, at least 1 ethereal armor, 1 ethereal jewelry, and 1 ethereal weapon, go to Cutlass Key's Elite Zone, Cutlass Key's Elite Zone in a group and clear it out and loot all the chests. After 1 rotation of the Cutlass Key's Elite Zone, you'll come out with around 2,000 race stones. Most of your race stone drops will actually come from the enemies you kill as well. So it's important that as a group, as a Zerg, you clear out the mobs. And again, for my solo players, clear out those mid-tier corruption pools. It looks like a lot of people are doing them. That's also going to be a way you get a lot of PvP as well. A lot of the high stakes will happen, especially if you're using ethereal gear. But these are corrupted portals are going to be a great way to also get your race stones. Another way to get your race stones, especially if you are solo. So those are your 2 ways. Again, your elite POIs, your corrupted portals. The most efficient way is elite POIs, but it's also probably going to be the most contested, I would assume. And again, getting your Conqueror's recipes is from the animuses. And one thing I want to mention is mix in normal gear. So a quick tip is, for me, I'm going to be getting a bunch of 700 gear score, or close to 700 gear score stuff from the gold cursed PvP vendor. As you can see, this amulet right here, I got from the PvP vendor. So I went and farmed some doubloons from the free-for-all island, came back and got a gold cursed amulet. This is going to be a good way to make sure you don't lose all of your gear and have some reserves where you don't have to stress as much. So, for example, you obviously want the Conqueror's Musket. This is going to be a key to dealing insane amounts of DPS, as the appendage's detriment perk is very insane. But you will also want to mix in other gear to make your build good, and not only that, be effectively reliable and have, like, effectively you can feel safer, you can feel more, I guess, trying to think of the word here, confident in your play, knowing that you're not going to lose everything, right? So, for example, there is no ethereal armor other than the 1 piece I need to have that I will be having equipped on my character. Other than that 1 piece, I'm aiming to get just a bunch of nice 700 gear score, 3 perk pieces, whether that be from M1s or from the Gold Curse vendor, and I will be putting gems in those. As I'm probably going to point this out, the ethereal gear, the ethereal armor, is kind of shit. And what I mean by that is not that the perks are bad. 725 Ethereal Gear, you can roll with 3 perks and get best in slot. But the problem is the built-in armor absorption here is only 3%, which is actually worse than a gem. So that is why I personally am going to be going for 4 pieces of regular armor. One of them being an artifact. I'm actually going to be going for the winged leather shoes. But I don't have the winged leather shoes yet. I need to go out and farm those. And that is going to be my key armor there. And again, other than ethereal, that's the only piece I'm going to have on so I can actually get WRATHSTONEs. The jewelry, I'm only going to have 1 piece so I can get WRATHSTONEs. Right now I have 2 because I actually, funny enough, this ring was better than what I had. This was the ring yes, this was the ring I had. No, that wasn't it. This was the ring I had beforehand. It was really bad. Actually, no, it might have been this one. I actually don't know why I'm not using that ring. There's a better ring. But this is the musket that I'm, again, going to be using in my build. I do have a more detailed musket setup for the seasonal servers coming out soon. And then offhand, I'm using Life Taker. Nothing beats Life Taker when it comes to DPS. If I want to be more safe, I probably will use the Rapier. But the Life Taker, especially in the server paired with the Detriment, is in a group going to deal insane damage. So as long as I'm confident in my teammates, I have the security to run the Life Taker. But I've got a full build guide coming out for that soon. But that's just what I want to mention is, again, you're not going to drop any of this gear. You're only going to drop Ethereal Gear, WRATHSTONEs, and Conqueror's Gear on death. You will never lose artifacts, you'll never lose named items, and you'll never lose normal crafted gear on death. So you don't have to worry about that. In all, that is pretty much everything I wanted to cover. A bit of a complicated video, but I hopefully made you at least understand some of the dynamics on how it works. You know, you get your Animus, you get your recipe, you get your WRATHSTONEs from your elite POIs, provided you have some ethereal armor on, and you should be good to go. I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.